Yeah, I'm like, oh God, oh my God.
Hey guys, before the video starts, make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and also check out my merch store and my Discord. Let's go. Guys, what's going on? Welcome back to an episode of Life Made Easy. Today I'm going to be doing a completely different video. Instead of some tech-related thing, I'm going to be doing a review on a movie. I've never done one of these. It's probably going to be a one-time thing. Just because this isn't really technology related, but I went to see Endgame, huge Marvel fan, and just want to give you guys my overall thoughts on the movie because it's a very popular movie right now. It marked the finale of the Avengers saga and the end of Phase 3 in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They've been building up to this film for 22 films now, all leading to this one movie. Infinity War was massively popular last year. I saw that. Thought that was a great film, and then I was looking forward to this one. I'm surprised actually this one came out only a year after Infinity War, so a lot of hype around this movie. Pretty sure this did really well first weekend at the theaters. I think they've already raised billions and billions of dollars on this, so very good investment on their part. So yeah, first part of this video is going to be spoiler free. It's going to be giving you my unbiased opinion on the movie, and the later part I'll let you guys know will actually be the spoiler review part. So with that being said, let's hop right into it. Okay guys, so when it comes to the non-spoiler part of this review, I thought overall this was a very, very good film. The action sequences in particular were fantastic. I don't want to give any spoilers in this, is going to be hard, but action sequences are great. I thought the character development in this movie was great. You got to, every character shined in this movie. There are a lot of them, obviously, and I thought they did a good balance of letting each character have their spotlight. This can be very hard for a movie like this. Obviously, it's 3 hours long, so they had a lot of time to work with. Obviously, I don't think they could have done it if it was a shorter movie. I thought 3 hours was good. A little long for a movie, but honestly, every minute is something important, so you're not going to be able to go to the bathroom and skip parts of this movie. You kind of have to see the whole thing. Everything matters. Nothing in this movie is really forgettable. Nothing's like, there's no real boring scenes, no boring dialogue. Everything has to do with the main plot. Everything's very important in that sense. When it comes to tone of the movie, surprisingly, the tone is very positive, and you'd think like it'd be very dark and dismal because after Infinity War, spoilers for that movie, but Thanos snaps his finger and kills half the universe. They all turn to dust and go into the Soul Stone. So you'd think that this movie would be like very dark and dismal because that's the tone of Infinity War was for the most part. But for the most part, this movie had a pretty positive tone. There's a lot of the word Avenger is definitely symbolic in this movie. Basically trying to correct the events of Infinity War. I don't know if that's a spoiler or not, but I thought that's pretty obvious based on the trailer. Basically trying to make up for the mistakes they made in the last movie. I'm not going to say how, but I will say that the tone is very positive. A lot of humor in this film. So if you guys like Marvel humor, they stick it into most films. It's very heavy in this film. Thor in particular is very comedic in this film, very similar to Ragnarok Thor. In Infinity War, Thor is more of a serious character. In this, he kind of goes back to his Ragnarok role of being kind of like humorous. So I guess overall, guys, I'd say a great movie and highly recommend it if you're a Marvel fan. If you're a fan of action movies, blockbuster movies, anything like that, go see this movie. So now let's hop into the spoiler section of this film. Okay, guys, so when it comes to spoilers for the film, and this is a huge spoiler warning, I'm about to spoil this movie for you. So if you haven't seen Endgame yet, click off this video right now because you're about to be spoiled. And if you haven't already been spoiled, don't read or just don't read YouTube comments, honestly, because that's going to spoil the whole movie. So where does this movie take place? The beginning part of it takes place directly after Infinity War, literally like day or so, Tony Stark is floating through space with what's her name, Nebula, the robot chick, and so they're adrift. They run out of gas, and they're stuck in space. And because this takes place, they're on Titan fighting Thanos, and most of the people there, Guardians of the Galaxy, all disintegrated, including Peter Parker, Spider-Man. So they're in space, and they get out of space from Captain Marvel. And if you guys didn't see the post-credit scene of Captain Marvel, she shows up to Avengers HQ, and I'm guessing she knows where they are because Rocket probably has like a tracking device on his ship because they're in the Guardians of the Galaxy ship. And so they probably tell her where they are, and obviously she can fly through space and stuff like that. So she finds them, brings the ship back to Earth. They all reunite. Tony Stark's all messed up. Definitely has some PTSD from his fight with Thanos, and definitely kind of shook since Spider-Man died in his arms. So Tony Stark's kind of shook. They're all kind of like messed up in their own way. They're all sad. And then after this, they say, hey, let's go get Thanos, because they're all pissed off at him. And they see that he used the stones again. They're wondering why he used the stones again. They could somehow locate his position. They find him. They travel to his like little farm area, because in the last movie he showed he's like living on a farm staring at the sunrise right now. So he's there. They all find him, and he's like, yeah, I used the stones to destroy the stones. So they can't undo what he did now. He still has the gauntlet, but the gauntlet's like basically fried, so that's useless. And since there's no stone, they can't undo the snap and bring everyone back. So they're in a huge dilemma now. Thor gets pissed, and huge spoiler warning right here, cuts off Thanos' arm first because he's so mad, and then he cuts off Thanos' head, making a reference to Infinity War, where everyone said that he should have aimed for the head. So he cuts off Thanos' head. So Thanos is dead, and so after that, 5 years later, only half of Earth is alive right now, and pretty bad. Captain America is doing some like pep talks with some people and like some meetings and stuff, trying to like cheer people up, stuff like that. Everyone's kind of depressed. Everyone's kind of like gone their separate ways. The Avengers are kind of like split up right now, and after that, Scott Lang, Ant-Man, gets shot out of his van because in Ant-Man and the Wasp, he goes to the quantum realm, gets stuck because who was it? Hank was supposed to help him get back out, and Hank's daughter and wife were all supposed to help him get back out, but they disintegrated, so he was stuck in the quantum realm, and a rat jumps on some buttons in his truck. He gets shot out, so that's how he gets out. It's because of a rat. Kind of strange, but so he gets out, he comes to the Avengers HQ, he tells Captain America, blah, 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 we can go back in time using the quantum realm, which is entirely possible. They mentioned that in Ant-Man and the Wasp. If you haven't seen that movie, go check that out, because they do mention it there. So their whole plan is like, let's go back in time, get all the stones, bring them back to the future, and undo the snap, because right now the stones are destroyed, and the only way to get them is if they go back in time, get them, and then come back. So this time travel is a little different than traditional time travel like in Back to the Future. So the thing is, when they go back in time, their actions there do not change the future in that universe. Everything, even if they mess up everything, the same outcome is going to happen. So even if they screw up every event happening in the past, when they come back, their future will be the exact same. The only difference is it basically splits off. If they change anything, it splits off, creating a different timeline. I know it's kind of confusing, but so they change something in the past, right? They get the stones. Their future will stay exactly the same. That'll be straight. If they change anything, it just creates a divide, and that universe will take place. So a bunch of different timelines can be created because their actions definitely do change the past, but that doesn't change their future, if that makes any sense. So one group goes to New York to get the time stone, the space stone, and the mind stone, because all three of those were in the Battle of New York. So they go back there to get all the stones. They have a bunch of encounters with themselves. Captain America fights himself. So that's that. And then was it War Machine and Nebula go to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, where Star-Lord is, to get the Power Stone when he originally gets the stone. So, and that causes problems because Nebula, the robot chick, is somehow linked with the other Nebula, who's the past Nebula, the evil one, because she's not good. So she's somehow linked, and Thanos finds out what their plan is through like her screen recording everything. So Thanos finds out what they're doing. They end up capturing the future Nebula while they're with the Power Stone in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. War Machine returns safely, but she gets captured, and they're like, who are you? And they realize she's from the future. And so Thanos gets all mad, and he's like, okay, I end up snapping the stones, so now I have to go into the future to get all the stones, because they're collecting them all, basically. So, yeah, they go there, and then the other two, is Hawkeye and Black Widow, go to Vormir to get the Soul Stone. And huge spoiler here, because you know, guys, to get the Soul Stone, you have to sacrifice something you love. So Hawkeye and Black Widow fight over who's going to die, because obviously they're, like, really good friends. So it would work. I didn't buy that too much, but spoiler warning, Black Widow ends up sacrificing herself so Hawkeye can get the Soul Stone. It's also strange because Hawkeye can just hold the Soul Stone. I thought those were like the most powerful things in the universe, but he can just hold it. I don't know. There's a lot of plot holes in this movie, but besides the point, it's a fictional movie, obviously. A lot of stuff is unrealistic. So they get that. They get the 3 stones in New York. They get the Power Stone. And then there's one more. What am I missing? That's 3. That's 1. And then they fail at getting the Tesseract in New York, so they have to go back even further to Captain America's boot camp to get that. And then they get more Pym particles. Pym particles basically allow you to travel back in time, named after Hank Pym. So they get those. So they end up getting all the stones. I forget which one I'm missing, but time. Oh, right, and Thor and Rocket go to Thor the Dark World to get the Reality Stone from his former girlfriend, Jane. So they get that. That's all 6. They bring him back to the future. And Nebula switch places with good Nebula, evil past Nebula, switches places with future Nebula. So she comes back, opens up a portal for Thanos to come through. Tony Stark makes a gauntlet that can house all the stones, which is kind of weird. I don't know how he can build that somehow. Like, the other gauntlet was formed from a star by a bunch of giant dwarves. I don't know. Don't ask me why that makes sense. So he does that. Hulk has to be the one to snap it, because obviously he does a lot of damage to you, and he says it releases gamma radiation. Hulk is made of gamma radiation. And by the way, the Hulk in this movie is not the normal Hulk. It's a mixture of Bruce Banner and the Hulk, so he's basically Professor Hulk, so he's a smart version of Hulk, but just not as strong. Where's I going with that? So he snaps, meaning everyone comes back, but it's kind of delayed. And then right after he snaps, they're at Avengers HQ. A bunch of missiles go off. A whole HQ explodes. I thought people were going to die here, but apparently not. So Thanos comes back to the future, past Thanos, who's not like pre-snap Thanos. Way in the past, comes back. He now has a double-edged sword, and Thor's really fat in this movie for comedic relief. And so Thor gets his hammer when he goes back in time. He brings it back to the future. So now Thor can dual wield Stormbreaker and I don't know what the name of his hammer is, but he can basically dual wield his 2 weapons now. So Thanos comes down after blowing up the HQ. Tony Stark, Captain America, Thor all fight him, and they get their butts kicked. And then you realize in the film, Thor's about to get stabbed by Thanos. Thanos grabs Stormbreaker. So Thor's about to die, and then you see Thor's hammer go flying across and hit Thanos, and you're like, what just happened? And apparently, Captain America is worthy to wield his hammer, which is really cool. The whole audience goes crazy at this point. Like, Captain America can summon lightning from the sky and basically act as Thor. So now Captain America has a shield and his hammer, and his shield gets busted up from Thanos' like double-edged sword in this movie. That's his main weapon. So huge fight commences. Thanos' army from his ship. His ship is enormous. It like houses all these like monsters and stuff. And then Doctor Strange shows up because they snapped already, so all their friends come back. All the portals come back. You see Black Panther, Falcon, Bucky, Groot comes back. Tony's wife Pepper, who she was still alive, but she comes back. She's like has her own Iron Man suit, so it's a huge battle. Ant-Man grows huge, starts like killing people. And then it's basically the fight for the gauntlet at this point. Thanos wants to get it because obviously all the stones are in one place now. So he wants to get it. It's a big fight. Everyone's trying to grab the glove. And then Captain Marvel comes out of nowhere before Thanos gets the gauntlet. She like blows up Thanos' ship. She starts like killing everyone. Then she fights Thanos. She almost subdues him, but then like he grabs the Power Stone, punches her away because obviously the stone's like so powerful. And Jesus is long. So right before Thanos ends up getting the glove again, and then at this point you're like, oh crap, like he's gonna do it again. He's gonna snap and kill half the universe again. Tony Stark looks at Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange holds up at number 1 because they had 1 in 14,605,000 chance of being successful. So Tony Stark starts fighting Thanos, tries to grab his glove, and then Thanos pushes him off. He gets the glove. He's about to snap. He snaps. Clink. Nothing happens because he looks at the gauntlet. All the stones are gone. Tony Stark grabs all the stones out of his gauntlet, puts them in his own little gauntlet that he made for himself. So he now has all the stones, and he's like, Thanos was like, I am inevitable. Basically, he can't be stopped. And then Iron Man's like, I am Iron Man. He snaps his finger. Basically wiping out all of Thanos' forces. And I learned here that basically you can program what you want to do with the stones. It's all based on your mindset. So Thanos wanted to wipe out half the universe. He snapped. That's what happened. Tony Stark wanted to wipe out Thanos' armies. That happened. So Thanos finally disintegrates, which was nice because he was a really hated character. Also, people loved him at the same time. So from here, like the Hulk said, releases a lot of gamma radiation when you snap, and the Hulk almost died when snapping, but he's still alive because he's so strong. But Tony is a human, so obviously he's not going to be able to survive. And huge spoiler right here, Tony is laying against a rock, and Pepper goes up to him, and she's like, it's going to be okay, Tony. And so you can see like Tony's whole face is like burnt, like he like really took the power, took a beating from snapping his finger. Like, that was just so much power within those stones. So sadly, spoiler warning, Tony passes away, and then they have the funeral. Everyone's there, including the kid from Iron Man 3, who Tony met up with. That was a cool callback. And then Captain America, they have to go back and return the stones in the past so that their realities don't change, something like that. So Captain America goes back, and then they're like, and then he never returns. It's just kind of weird, and so you're sitting there like, where did Captain America go? Then you see some old guy sitting on a bench, and you're like, who is that? And then it turns out to be Captain America, but he's old. So it turns out Captain America, when he went back in time to return the stones, decided not to come back immediately. He wanted to live his full life. So he lived his full life with, what was her name? Peggy Carter, I think that is it. Correct me if I'm wrong. So with the woman he loved, he lived a whole life with her. He finally got that one dance that she promised him, which I'm shocked, like he finally got that, because he thought he was never going to see her again. That was a huge theme in all the movies, that he's basically a fish out of water. He's living in the future when he should be living in the past, because he got frozen in ice, obviously, in his movie. So he's old, he had a great life, and I think Peggy probably died eventually of natural causes. So that's how the movie ends, guys. Overall, thought it was fantastic. I hope I didn't spoil anything for you guys if you skipped to this part. But if you liked this video, make sure to like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications, do all that good stuff. Go check out all the links below. Got some good reviews coming up, some speakers, backpacks, stuff like that. Let me know any video suggestions down below. Also, guys, if you want to become members of the channel and help me out a little bit, I think it's like $5 a month. You can help donate. I'd really appreciate that. It'd help me make some bigger and better videos overall. That being said, guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.